Hey guys, hope you're having a great day today. My name is Daniel and I'm the High Mileage Helper. On this channel, my goal is to be able to help you learn more about the RV transporting industry, as well as give how-to videos for your truck and then give recommendations along the way. So this is our first time meeting. Just consider subscribing, hitting the like button if you get good value. And in today's video, I'm going to be bringing you along with me on this ridiculous trip that I've got booked, and you'll be able to see why that is in just a second coming up. Alright guys, so I'm pulling into lot 4. If you watched my previous video talking about how to find your trailer in the yard, pretty much any company, I just kind of shared how Synergy's system is with being able to find that, and so just wanted to kind of touch on that a little bit here. I'm in lot 4, so L4 and then R17, which is row 17, and essentially in lot 4, row 17, that's the outskirt row to the right. But today's trailer is going to be a little bit different of a type of trailer, and we're going to kind of talk a little bit more into it about why I picked this trailer. But I'll go ahead and find it here in row 17. All right, so here's what all the fuss is about. This is a 40-foot residence. This is a travel trailer, which essentially to me, I just kind of call them a train cart. I mean, it's just a brick, just a long rectangle monster, and this is 13,000, I believe, 400. So my GVWR on the truck is 12.3, so this was 300 pounds less than my total max that I could have hauled for a trailer. We got Mr. Ryder here inspecting the yard here, but this is a 40-foot trailer, a behemoth of a trailer. It definitely made my rear end sag, so I just kind of pumped up my airbags in the rear to lift everything up. I've done my full pre-trip, got everything squared away here, and this beast is going to be going to New Jersey. If you're in the live video Sunday night, you would have seen I said I was going to be going to New Jersey, and then I was going to be going to Kentucky after that. So this is the residence trailer that I'm going to be hauling there. They've got some tape up here to maybe protect that front window there from being damaged. Hopefully this actually stays on. We'll see how well that actually holds up out on the road, but I've got 675 miles to go for this trip to Berlin, New Jersey, and I've been there multiple times before. Not too bad of a place to drop off, so I'm all set to go here. Gonna grab Ryder here wherever he's at. There's quite a few more residence trailers over here that were on the load board, a couple over here, a couple over there. And so the main reason why I would ever want to pull one of these on my truck, to put that much stress to make my truck work this hard, when I could pull some little dinky little thing over here that's 5,000 or 7,000 pounds that might pay almost as much as this, is simply because this trailer that I'm going to be taking to New Jersey, it is a old load. It is technically a CDL load as well. Because of the overall weight, it's over 13,000 pounds. They just kind of pick and choose which one. To my understanding, they just kind of pick and choose what is a CDL load at a certain weight. I haven't exactly figured that out, but this is a CDL load. It's old and it's going east. So this trailer is actually, because it's a residence and next to nobody really wants to pull these because it's just horrible on fuel economy. It's just the one that everyone does not want to take. So I wanted to take this one because the main reason, because it was $2 a mile. The most I've ever been paid before, I think, is like maybe $1.90, $1.95. But at $2 a mile, that is $13.50 to go 675 miles. Even if I get horrible fuel economy, if it's just atrocious, I still am going to make a solid amount of money for literally a 2-day trip there one day and back the next, and be able to make out pretty decently on this $2 a mile trailer. So I haven't decided if I'm actually going to, you know, fill up here in Goshen and exactly determine exactly how much it was in fuel. I'll definitely be able to kind of give a gauge roughly if I just kind of go off my auxiliary tank and my main tank and just kind of spot it and see how much it really was, and kind of give a rough estimate how much it actually did cost to be able to pull this. Only 675 miles. But the other main reason why I wanted to get this is just simply to show you guys what these are like to be able to pull, what to look for on the load board if you want to avoid these, you know, at all costs. These are simply just monsters. And if you're new, if you're inexperienced with pulling some of these bigger trailers, you might think, oh, it's a longer trailer. Yes, it weighs that much, but the front will still be the same like all these other ones that are, you know, maybe a little bit nicer for aerodynamics. This is just not. This is the type of load where you get 5 mpg, where you get horrible, you know, fuel economy, horrible wear and tear on your tires. Your engine's working a lot harder, your transmission probably is as well, and it's just a lot more of a trailer than normal for a bumper pull. A 13,000, you know, fifth wheel, that's no big deal, but a bumper pull with aerodynamics, I don't know how much it would really be comparatively, but it's just a whole lot more than maybe you probably want to pull for a travel trailer. So we're gonna go ahead and get going here and just kind of talk through some things on the road, and we'll see you there in a second. All right, guys, so I am leaving lot 4 right now. I've got it all hooked up, and I got my airbags pumped up as well. I did get to meet a subscriber, one of you guys, Scott, who's at Synergy, and looked like he was pulling in a backhaul, and he said he was going to be hooking up to a residence as well, going to the same place that I'm going. So probably see him tomorrow morning probably in New Jersey, and it's kind of neat to be able to see some of you guys out on the road, see in the yards, you know, lot 1 at the home base, whatever, for Synergy, and kind of neat to just see the real people, you know, behind the numbers of subscribers or views or comments. You know, you guys see me all the time in these videos, but I don't get to really see you, and to meet you, and I got to shake his hand, and a real nice guy, and he actually pointed out to me one of my the sewer caps for the tube was dangling there. I thought it was on there, but apparently either got shook loose or I didn't notice it. But so I got to get that cap on there and get that secured, so it's not flapping down the road, you know, while I'm driving. So we're gonna get out of Goshen here and hopefully avoid hitting anybody with this crazy long tail swing that I have now with this 40-foot trailer, and be able to sneak out of here without any issues. There we go. All right, and I'll see you guys out on the road in a little bit. Hey guys, so we are in Ohio right now on 80, and we're just kind of cruising down the road here. The wind is at about 5 to 10 miles per hour off of my wind compass app that I'll probably talk about in another future video here, what I use for checking out the weather and the wind, really. Yeah, just kind of cruising through here on 80, and then I'll be dropping down, going down through Pittsburgh, and then going on the toll road all the way across Pennsylvania, and then dropping down to Philadelphia, and then it's just wiggling right over to Berlin, New Jersey. So relatively not too bad for the trailer so far. There have been a few times where, you know, where you kind of do the wiggle worm, where the actual trailer itself has got a little bit of wind on it, and then it kind of wiggles me up front, and so that's been a little interesting. But you know, these trailers, they're 13,000 pounds GVWR, so depending on a lot of different things, maybe it's 10 or 11, maybe 12,000, maybe even less, but they're just big bricks, and very awkward going down the road. Anyways, this one is definitely different than most trailers that I do pull, especially, you know, when you're next to a semi. It's a 40-foot trailer, and I've got a 22 or 23 foot long truck, and so I'm over 60 feet long, and then when you're right next to a semi, it seems as if instead of being sucked in more towards the actual semi, it feels like I'm at first, as they're passing me, because I'm going 65, and apparently these guys are able to just do whatever they want as they're going, 70 plus. But as they're going by me on the left side, I seem to be getting pushed further away to the right, and then as their tail is close to the the front of my truck, the front of the combined length of the vehicle and the trailer, I seem to be getting sucked in towards the end of the actual semi trailer. So this is a little bit different than most trailers. Usually I just get sucked in immediately and I have to fight to get back. A little more away in my lane from that semi, but this time I seem to be getting pushed off and then at the very last second being sucked in. So but definitely a difference in the aerodynamics of this whole process of how semis are passing me and what I need to kind of look out for and how I need to be a defensive driver. So I'll be on 80 until I start dipping down more towards Pittsburgh. It is a little interesting on 80 with lots of cracks in the road and having my airbags filled up quite a bit. The bouncing and the wiggling around from the inconsistencies on the road, that has definitely been a factor in how I've been driving. The truck goes through cracks and maybe a little bit of potholes here or there, whatever, it's no big deal. But once the trailer hits it for whatever reason, it really just kind of does a large shock wave, and then I kind of feel it after. So it's kind of weird. I go through it, it's okay, and then I actually hit it with the trailer tires, and then I really feel the trailer rock a little bit, and or vibrate, whatever you want to say. So definitely a different type of experience with this larger trailer. So I just really wanted to share with you, the difference in pulling one of these trailers. So if you were to take a trailer like this, whether it's a residence or a retreat, anything that's really above 12,000 or maybe 13,000 pounds on a travel trailer, to me that almost says it's really just in the name. You need to retreat and run away from this load. And if it's a residence, that means you're basically moving a house. All right, guys, so I am almost out of Ohio on 80, and it's honestly been a little bit stressful, having 3 lanes at certain parts of 80. There's been times where I've been passing somebody in the middle lane, passing the semi, and I'm going more than enough to be able to overtake them, going somewhere in between 65 and 70. Because they're going 65 or maybe even a little bit less, and then I have someone behind me. Generally it's been a semi that's wanting to pass me, so then they get in the left lane, the third one on the left side, and they'll just fly past me. And each time that's happened, I'm caught in the middle. There's literally 2 semis and me, and I gotta tell you, I've been death gripping the steering wheel. It's been a little sketchy a couple times because this trailer is just a monster. It's not just the overall length of the trailer that's a problem. It's between the back bumper or the back of the trailer up until the axle. That tail swing can just be so devastating and so long. It can be very dangerous having such a long trailer like this. To be out on the road and to be in between, especially 2 semis, one that is just I'm barely passing, and the other one that's just flying by me. Just these guys are just crazy out on the road here for whatever reason. They've got to be going well over 70 miles an hour. Hopefully they're safe out on the road, but I honestly don't know how they are being safe doing stuff like that. Here's another guy who's about to just fly past me. Looks like he's slowing down a little bit, but it's just been a little nerve-wracking, even after several years of doing this. Depending on the trailer, depending on the situation, seriously, there can be some hairy situations. And honestly, some of the best advice I would give is just If there's people around you who are just all over the place, slowly, not jerkingly, not slamming on your brakes, but simply slowing down so they get past you and you get as far right as possible. That's going to be the name of the game. If they're going to be crazy and if they're going to be zipping around you, even semis, they're going to do what they're going to do. But if you can be as defensive as possible, don't go 40 miles an hour. That becomes not just defensive driving, that becomes dangerous to yourself, because you're now at a significant difference in speed. But finding a happy medium of being able to get away from them as far to the right as you can, and not making a lot of big moves where you're going to have to counter, jerking to the right to get over to the far right lane. That's not going to help, and slamming on your brakes certainly is not going to help either. Slow, defensive little changes in what you're doing to be able to get to where you need to be. So I am in the far right lane right now, up until we get off of the toll road here in Ohio, and then we'll hop on to Pennsylvania's toll road here a little later, and keep making our way to New Jersey. All right, guys, so we finally made it to the stopping point for tonight. I'm just west of Philadelphia. I've got another hour and 30 minutes, hour 45 minutes, somewhere in there, to go for tomorrow, before I'm able to actually drop off. Maybe the second half, going through Pennsylvania today, of the part of the drive. It was a lot better overall for me. There was not 3 lanes like there was in Ohio, where people were just boxing me in, and just it was really really sketchy out there. But not too bad in Pennsylvania here on the toll road. The toll road, if you haven't heard by any other person, the toll road in Pennsylvania is now completely pay by plate. No more cash receipts, any of that stuff. So that now means that in order for me to turn in my paperwork and to be reimbursed for the large amount of money that it's going to take to pay for those tolls going through here, whether it's on the trailer's license plate, which is what's actually going to be charged on the way here and then on the way home, and then just my license plate as regular on the way home. I'm going to have to wait to pay both of those online, get the receipt to then submit those with my rest of my paperwork to be able to be reimbursed. So I already did talk with Synergy about that. I might go ahead and make a video about this coming up in the future here, just kind of talking about that situation for New York and Pennsylvania, and I believe maybe 1 or 2 other states going completely pay by plate. No more cash, no more card, just completely, no human at the actual toll booth, contactless, payment. So essentially that's what's gonna have to happen on this load. But again, on this load, I'm getting paid $2 a mile to haul this monster trailer, as it seems, as it feels to me. I'm sure there's somebody out there who's pulled a bigger trailer, a much heavier trailer. Obviously, it's only 13,000 pounds, but it's just the size and the build of the trailer that seems to be so ridiculous of a trailer. Obviously, again, it's a residence, and it's meant to be lived in, probably more luxurious and more of a long term, maybe year round, not just simply on vacations or traveling or being snowbirds, whatever it may be. But surprisingly, my fuel economy, I thought it was going to be 5, 6, maybe 7, but surprisingly it's actually, as far as what the computer says on my truck says 8.4. So I'm going to assume, just right off the top, it's got to be 8 or maybe a little bit less than that. I've gone through quite a bit of fuel, obviously, today. I think I've got like 90 miles to go for tomorrow. So roughly almost 600 miles today, plus from my house empty to Goshen, that factoring it in. So not too bad, I think, for the overall size and shape of this trailer, with how just horrible it is for aerodynamics, to be able to pull this thing up the mountains in Pennsylvania, just how ridiculous it was. So Mr. Ryder, he is over here hanging out in the would-be grass area, and hanging out here. He was checking out that shopping cart over there, making sure it's all good. But he's found some toys. Oh, yeah, he's good to go. He's ready to play for a while here. But I'm gonna let him hang out here for a little bit. I'm gonna go inside. I am at the Walmart, if you can see over there. I'm gonna go grab just a little bit of food to finish off the night. But overall, just kind of let Ryder hang out here and play. And we'll have an early morning tomorrow to be able to finish off this delivery. They do start accepting at 8 a.m. And so that's going to be pretty solid. I think I'm going to be showing up there at about 8:45, maybe even 9 o'clock. So hopefully if there's somebody already there ready to go, they've already kind of passed through, and hopefully I'm number 2 lined up ready to go to be checked in, and so I can drop this big paperweight off. I think my overall expenses on this trip, you know, it's $2 a mile. It's 675 miles, loaded paid miles. So that turns into $1,350. I believe just on the way here, I've probably gone through about $180 worth of fuel. That's 34 gallons in the truck tank, 2 full tanks to get to where I'm at here today, plus a little bit extra from being empty, driving from home to Goshen. So I'm just gonna kind of round up. So 180 bucks so far, and then tomorrow maybe like 50 bucks, probably not even that. And then to get back to Synergy, it'll probably take another full tank worth and then a hair more to be able to get back to Synergy for my next load, which is going to be Kentucky. So I want to make sure this guy doesn't actually hit Ryder here. Yeah, just leave the dog alone. Okay. This guy was getting really close to the curb, and Ryder's just staring at him like, what are you doing? So anyways, so I'll kind of tally up a rough guesstimation of what I believe the total fuel cost was for this trip, and then to be able to kind of give you a figure of what it took to deliver this trailer, and then see what my profit is just simply after fuel. Obviously everybody has all their other expenses that are different from everybody else. I'm just going to share the profit with you just after fuel, and then, you know, you can plug in your own numbers if you wanted to on this. But yeah, so roughly I would say a little bit less than 8 mpg, $2 a mile at 675 miles paid. And to be able to get from my house to Goshen, to the drop-off, back to Goshen, ready to go for the next load, I will hopefully be able to give you a number on that. So we're gonna go ahead and bed down here shortly. Ryder's still probably gonna want to hang out here a little bit more, and we'll just kind of take the rest of the night for ourselves here and bed down. So we will go ahead and catch you tomorrow. Guys, so here is the beast. I believe it has 4 full slide outs, maybe even 5 on the other side, 3 on one side, 2 on the other, I think. And we are unhooked. Still have the power hooked up to it with the battery and to the truck, but we are ready to get rid of this puppy and be done with it. After this, I'll be going straight back to Goshen. On the way home, I'm gonna have to fill up on some fuel here, so definitely going to hit some fuel here in New Jersey rather than Pennsylvania. I think I possibly could make it through all the way through Pennsylvania to Ohio, but I really don't want to risk it. So definitely going to stop here on the way back to Synergy. This honestly was not too bad of a run. You know, these resident trailers, it's supposed to be a residence. It's not exactly the one that you go camping with, you know, every once in a while. This is something you park and it sits, and you probably just live in it all year. So this was definitely a camper to remember hauling. I've only done a couple of these in the past. I'm gonna go try to find Ryder over here. I think he's wandered off into the grass, but basically there's only a few little hiccups, a few little sketchy times when I was going through Philadelphia, as you may have seen on that last clip there, where man, lots of lanes and lots of cars literally just dive bombing through all the different lanes. People are crazy, and drivers are crazy, especially in the morning trying to get to work. So defensive driving seriously is, you know, one of the biggest things in this industry. Just traveling down the road, whether you're empty or loaded, with a big trailer, with a small trailer, really does not matter. You have got to be on your game to defend yourself, to get away from people. And Ryder has shown up here, his return. He's been running around greeting everybody, saying hi to people. Ryder, hey buddy, hi. Yeah, so we hopefully should be grabbing some fuel here. I'm gonna look on my fuel station app to see where's the best price for me to grab some fuel on the way out of here, and then we'll probably grab some breakfast or lunch, whatever it is. I don't even know what time it is. I think it's close to like 10 a.m. Get a a brunch or something, and be able to get on our way out of here. So I will catch you guys a little bit later. All right, guys. So now it's a few days later from that delivery, and I just wanted to break down the numbers for you for the fuel, so that you can have a good idea of how much I actually profited from this $2 a mile run. So I'll just go ahead and break it down from one section to the next. So first off, it cost me from my home to Goshen, it cost me about $16, about 120 miles roughly. This is kind of going off of a lower average, 15 mpg for getting there. So that was $16. And then it's 675 miles at $2 a mile. So, and that took about 85 gallons at 8 mpg. I was higher, but I wanted to go a little lower to be a little bit more conservative, to give you a lower average, to be on the conservative side. So that cost about $161. I rounded up to the 85 gallons for that. Then the return trip was about 45 gallons, again at a lower MPG, 15. I probably got a little higher than that for sure, but I just want to be on the conservative side to give you good information. So that was about $86 to get back from New Jersey to Synergy's yard. And then if I were to just go home, which I didn't, again, it would be another about $16. I got the majority of my fuel at $1.89 when I was in St. Louis. So as you heard, I did have to get fuel in New Jersey to confirm that I could make it all the way back to Goshen. But just for rounding purposes, I did just want to use that $1.89 price for fuel to be able to get all these numbers. So with all this being said, the loaded miles would have been 161, the unloaded miles would have been 86, and then $16 and $16 if I were just going straight home. I did not, however, so that does play a factor into maybe how you would maybe operate and run on this trip. So for me, it was $263 at that $1.89 a mile. But if I had gone home, adding another $16, it would have been $279 for fuel. So at $2 a mile, at 675 miles, my gross would have been $1,350. And then subtracting $263, that would have left me with a net of $1,087 and some odd cents, as I've just been rounding up. So over $1,000 for a 2-day trip. Technically, it was one 11-hour day, a second 11-hour day, and then the third day would have been 1 hour to get back to Goshen, and then that's when I started my next trip, going down to Kentucky. So technically, I'm rounding it down to just 2 days. If you need to be a stickler, you can on some of those things, but roughly 2 full days of driving. So at a gross profit of $1,350, I then subtracted $263 for the fuel costs. Everybody else has their own different types of costs for their insurance, for their truck payment, for their maintenance fund. Hopefully you have that maintenance fund going. I didn't want to include all those other subtractions from that, but I just want to give the net after just fuel, and then you plug your numbers into it. So for me, after that fuel cost, I made $1,087, in which then I would subtract more things from that net number to have my numbers plugged into that. So for me, this trip was a success. I definitely used more fuel than I normally do. I'm sure I put more wear and tear on my tires, maybe made my transmission or my engine work harder. But overall, I believe at $2 per mile, even with the fuel cost, I still came out on top on this particular load. I'm sure there are several trailers out there, depending on where you're going in the country, what the fuel prices will be, whether you have an auxiliary fuel tank, how much you can save money on, and lots of those factors that have to be put into each individual load when you are deciding what trip you are wanting to take at what rate per mile. So these are just some things to consider when you are deciding if you're wanting to take one of these larger trailers that are kind of bricks, and you know what that's going to do to your fuel economy, what that's going to do to your truck, and all the things that will come from taking a trip like this that will affect your bottom line. So with all that being said, hopefully you have a great day today. Stay safe and God bless, guys.